I knew I wanted to do e-commerce, but I didn't know what I was going to sell. So I started studying how to build a successful e-commerce business and just trusted that along the way I would figure it out. So I took in like all of Alex Hermones or Hermosi, sorry, and Layla, all their free content, all of that. And I watched these YouTube videos. I think her name was Jazz Anya. I don't think she does them anymore, but she called them big business breakdowns. And she took businesses that did at least 10 million a year and that were really transparent on the internet or social media about how they started and how they got there. Most of them started like in their kitchen. So
Yeah.
I was watching one of those, and it was on a feminine hygiene brand that was actually the first feminine hygiene brand that worked for me. But I had a lot of things I didn't love about it. So after I watched that, and sorry, I forgot an important part. She mentioned that they did 1 million a month,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like blown away.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, that is it, because like I said, love, loved some things about their product, but I seen like a lot of things that personally I would have changed and did different. So
Hmm.
that's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm gonna build a feminine hygiene brand products that I would want to use. And so
Totally.
because obviously, I'm thinking if I had like, if I want XYZ, there's probably, a decent amount of women that agree that also are looking for the same thing. And obviously it's a niche market that there isn't a lot of options for. So
Hmm.
that's what I did. I literally built the brand and built every product to be exactly what I personally would like wanted in a product. And thankfully, a lot of other women clearly like it too.
Yeah, and it started taking off. So you saw market opportunity. So you knew they were doing big numbers. You tried
Yes.
out the product. You realized, hey, there's a better way to do this.
Yeah.
And like most business owners think, entrepreneurs, they're like, I could do this myself, maybe better.
Yeah, exactly.
Super
Exactly.
cool. And so you launched on Shopify.
Yep.
And what were the first steps from there? How did everything start going?
So I started initially just promoting it on my personal Instagram. Like I,
Hmm.
I obviously made a business Instagram, but obviously started from zero, no following. So I promoted it to my followers from just people locally that I grew up with, mostly probably. And honestly, I didn't think anyone was gonna bite. I was like, I was thinking like they're gonna laugh at me first of all, and they're not probably not gonna try it because it's, a brand new product, brand new business. Like I'm thinking like they're probably gonna wait until it gets big and then try it.
Hmm.
But to my surprise, a whole bunch of girls were like, give me that right now. Like, love it, love it, love it. But sorry, I forgot. Before that, I should have started with when I was at the testing, like product launch part of it. I
Hmm.
gave all of the samples to like all of my friends, all of my like female family members. And, like I'm a really blunt, honest person. So I asked for that back, obviously, very important in business. And when I knew that I was onto something was when they ran out, like a majority of them ran out, and they were like, no, I need more, like right now.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I'm
So you
out
used
and
up all the
I
product.
I need more. So then I knew I was like, oh, they're not like just trying to support me. They're like they actually genuinely are obsessed with this product. And that's when I was like, oh, I think I really have something here.
That's awesome. And what would you say is like the specific like problem solution value prop of the product itself? Like what exactly for people to understand like what it is that you are selling?
Yeah, okay, okay. So the two are like hero products. Well, there's two. Is a feminine wash that we called Coochie Wash and an oil that we called Coochie Oil.
Hmm.
So both of them obviously like they're so multi-purpose, but initially the wash is obviously a feminine wash. It's the only like for a female, you can't just use body wash everywhere.
Sure.
So this wash is not only safe for the feminine areas, but it actually, if anything is out of balance or if there's any issues, it actually corrects it. So one of the big problems that are around that product is most of them don't smell great. They're not like aesthetically pleasing, and none that I know of have a matching oil that comes in the same scent or same essential oil. So that's what I did was I paired the duo with the wash and the oil in the same scent or essential oil. And I think that is one of the main things that separate us in the market because people like it's almost like you're layering a fragrance almost, but obviously they also come in unscented as well because there's people that don't want any fragrance at all. And unscented alone, these two products are amazing. But most people do buy a scent. And another thing that we're really proud of is the sensitivity. So
Mm.
as the founder, obviously, like I have extremely sensitive skin. I'm extremely sensitive femininely. And so I knew when I was testing out these scents and these products, I knew that if I could use it, there's a good chance everybody could use it because I'm so sensitive. So I really used myself as like the guinea pig that way. And it clearly paid off because one of the main reviews that we get a lot that I'm most proud of is women saying, I have never been able to use either a feminine product that didn't irritate me or B, a scented feminine product that didn't irritate me. So we're really proud of that too.
Yeah, that's interesting because like product research is one of those things that is like so important for
Hmm.
like people who are starting a business. It always amazes me that, some people don't do enough research or go super in depth. And it sounds like, all the steps you're taking, you're really refining the process and making sure it's like the exact fit for,
Definitely.
yourself and then realizing, wow, like, this is a really good example. And then your friends and then other people everybody's starting to use
Mhm.
the product, loves it, and you're onto something. And so you
Mhm.
launch it and you start getting sales. So
Yeah.
what was that like? How many sales did you get? What was that first month initially?
So in the first month, I think it was 4,000 organic. And I was doing everything myself, making it all myself, packaging it all myself, delivering them all myself because they were all, sorry, I shouldn't say all, but I would say like 95% of the sales were in my city. So instead of sending them carrier, I just delivered them because
Oh
I wasn't
wow.
getting
Why
that
is
many
that?
anyway.
What?
So because that's who followed me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
these are like people you kind of knew, or you're
Not
just locally
necessarily.
known?
Yeah, though not, I wouldn't say that, but just like, I guess, like, like another thing that just made me think of another big reason I believe of the success of the organic of the first month was giveaways. I
Okay.
did a lot of giveaways and I didn't even know if anyone would share it because obviously it's like it's a I don't even know the word. It's an out there name. It's an out there
Yeah,
product.
it's
I
it
didn't know if people
might
were
be
going to share
taboo
it
to some
or
people.
exactly. So, but to my surprise, an insane amount of people from my city did share the giveaways. And so I think that spread the word really quick as well. And I was just flabbergasted with the support from my city that I really just did not expect at all.
Wow. Yeah, that is interesting because I'd be curious to know like how many people are like, open to discussing or acknowledging or being
Right?
transparent or being, informative around like, products and how they feel about things. So that's great that you're
Hmm.
getting the feedback. So you
Yeah.
launched organically and you got 4,000 sales, which I don't think a lot of people realize. Like if you have a following, there's probably opportunities there to get, purchases organically and it's a good
Yeah.
way to
Sorry, I
test
mean
them.
$4,000 dollars in
Yes.
sales. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And from there, you weren't running any ads, purely
No.
organic. Did you have like a product marketing background? How did you come up with like the product packaging design and everything? Because like your brand is very aesthetic and it
Thank
seems like
you.
you come from a background that, is in
No,
a
so I
space.
actually self-taught myself how to run Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop.
Wow.
And I would just say like I just have like a natural like feminine aesthetic. So I would just created it based on like what I would want in my shower.
Yeah, I can see you've done that with the space and the website. It all runs together.
Yeah, yeah. It's not done yet. We just moved in last week, but
That's
it's
awesome.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
branding is everything, even in your own
Right?
space.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
super cool. So when did you first hear about us?
Um, the end of January? Or
Okay.
no, sorry. That was when I first started talking to you. But
Yes.
I took in all of your free content. I would say like right around the same time that I was doing Alex's courses and watching the like Jazz Agne's series. I would say like around
Right.
there. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
watching the content, you're building up the business. Then we got in contact and you joined the mentorship.
Hmm.
And then what did sales look like, shortly after that?
Yeah, so complete game changer. So grateful for you guys. So the first 30 days with you guys, we did 30K,
That's
which
amazing.
was amazing. We like amazing. And then the second month, 50K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. That was like
So good.
rapid growth.
Rapid
And you,
growth.
you weren't running any Facebook ads before then.
No, it was I think I had one ad set.
Okay.
Cause like I said, like I took in a lot of your free content and it was doing, I don't know if you remember, but it was doing okay. It
Yeah.
really like the one ad set that I had, like just based on like your knowledge or sorry, maybe it was one campaign, couple ad sets. It wasn't
Yes.
a lot and it was at a really low budget. But I didn't feel confident enough to I don't know. Like
The
I
strategies, the scaling,
yeah, because it's a
from A to
lot, and like
Z.
obviously, like at the same time, like I'm wearing almost every hat at that point too. So
Right.
I'm like, it's like it's priceless having experts like yourself tell me exactly what to do. You know what I mean?
Totally. Did you expect it to accelerate that quickly? Like going from 4 to 30 to
No,
50?
no, I didn't. That
What
was
what were
amazing.
those first couple of months like?
Um, Chaotic, but like so grateful and so happy and just like over the moon. Because I want to say like I've always had that like success delulu, I call it.
Hmm.
Like I know that it's gonna be big and I know
Yeah.
that it's gonna be successful. But that doesn't change like when it happens, like you're still like, oh,
It's surreal.
right? Like it's for real. So yeah,
You got to
like
want it bad enough and then have the execution behind it to make it happen. So
exactly.
you just got to be obsessed, and which you were, right? Like
Yes,
we talked about
totally.
creating content and doing a lot of stuff. Like that first month was very executional based. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to walk through like a little bit of the process, but we were talking about building out multiple campaigns, getting a lot of different ads live. Um, Through the creative process, we went over like, different formats, review based videos.
Yeah.
What is your like creation process look like? Was that a lot of work? Did it make sense? Was it hard? Were there any like challenges you're facing during that period? Because we kind of just
Um,
laid it all out there like, hey, we need all this and this is the setup.
yeah, so that part makes me so grateful that I did that I was familiar with the because you post an incredible free content. Like
Thank you.
incredible free content. So it's like I had a really good understanding of that. And then when you told me exactly what to do, it's like I already had that foundation and
Mm,
I was able to hit the ground running instead of
okay.
wait and like really take all of that in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you're already
So
like getting educated on it. You knew it was coming. You're just, we were just saying, hey, now's the time we need this. And you're like, I've been
yeah.
there. I just watched that or I went through that stuff. So let's do it now.
Exactly. So like in terms of creative struggles, like I find myself, I don't know, I wouldn't like I'd say I'm a pretty creative person, which kind of almost like ADHD gets me like in a million different places and all that stuff, but I feel like that kind of also works in this because you have to really
Yes.
try a lot of different things. And then when we see, obviously, like, okay, this format's working, this is working, this is working, then we double down on that. So,
100%. Like, I love creative people because the more creative you are, like, you're going to be able to have a lot more success because a lot of this does come down to creative. And creative is a very broad term. It can mean, just about anything in business. But specifically when we're talking about creating content or, product imagery or how to structure a website and the brand, the aesthetic, even down to like how you position things with the marketing. You've always had like a really good eye of like understanding how to curate those things. And I think that's like a big part of like,
thank you.
you being able to execute and see like results really quickly.
Hmm.
And that really does come down to, understanding how to format things. And like we put up a lot of creatives, we ramped up spend, you
Hmm.
started scaling pretty wildly. Um, Once you hit like that 50K month, what were some of like, were there any bottlenecks or any, turning points where you're starting to realize, any additional challenges you encountered along the way?
Yeah. So initially, I would say 90% of the sales came from one ad. So that was very unsettling. And I nonstop tried to, find more winners
Hmm.
because obviously I knew that one ad only, will only last so long and will eventually fatigue. So that I would say that was my biggest challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of businesses that begin to ramp up, they'll, get a piece of content and it either goes two ways. It goes really well and then they want to hold on to that creative and eventually it falls
I did
off
that.
and then we're like, what do we do now? How do I get back? And it's like
Exactly.
you're holding on to that one creative too long. And then like some people, have other creatives testing, but it's so wide and they're not necessarily getting a winner quick enough and rotating it over into the other campaigns that continue that scaling portion.
Yeah.
And then other people have inventory issues. You haven't necessarily had any inventory issues.
No, I haven't. So we did a pop-up shop at the mall and so my city is not very big. And I thought that the mall pop-up was gonna be life-changing because I'm a little Delulu. And so then when it wasn't, it we in like I hate to say that because we technically did really good, but I just thought it was gonna be like crazy. So I
Yeah.
had an outrageous amount of inventory, like stocked for that.
Oh
So
no.
we still like to, we well, and obviously I make sure that,
Yeah. Well, we could put it behind ads now. So
yeah, exactly.
cool. And you're getting like a 7x ROAS just in like the last 48 hours you're
Yeah,
looking
the
at?
last 48 hours has just been crazy. And the ROAS is 7. Just
Wow. And so now you have more new creatives that are working. It's
definitely.
ramping up again. And
Yes.
now
We
it's time to
we
throttle spend.
nonstop make creatives now.
Uh,
We're getting good at it now.
That's awesome. And then for the website, like, we talked about website adjustments and how important that
Yeah.
is, like with your conversion rate and stuff. Talk to me about like what are you all doing there right now?
Yeah, so I mean, like in a perfect world, I would love to have a complete new website right now, but it's not in the cards today. So I've done my best to do the changes on my own. And I actually think that some of the changes that I did on the weekend are part of the reason our conversion rate is so crazy right now. So that's cool to see.
And what were those changes?
Making it easier for people to see that you can bundle and save.
Mm,
So since I made that change, our AOV has gone from 60 to 100
that's incredible.
because most people are buying, like doing the bundles and buying at least 4 or 6 products
Wow.
because our shipping rates are so high here and packaging is so expensive. I understand that our product alone, if you buy one product, is expensive, but I try to make it so that when you buy a good amount, it's better priced.
Yeah, that's really
Cool.
smart because
Yeah.
like bundles help with the AOVs, which you just
Mhm.
did. And going from 60 to 100, that opens up margin for being able to spend more on ads.
Yep.
Your ROAS is now higher because of those
Exactly.
changes. And
Exactly.
it opens up the window to scale because if you get a lot more buyers for, buying more product,
Yeah.
like you can increase spend dramatically and scale a lot further.
100%.
So I wouldn't be surprised, like, 100K months aren't too far out.
That's the next goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. And so like, with everything that you've done so far, like what are like some of the biggest takeaways you've had for like other people who are, maybe wanting to start their business or start getting it ramped up and are stuck? Like what were like some of those big turning points you realized?
Well, I think that understanding that you can work 18-hour days for 6 weeks and then in one day it all changes. Do you know what I mean? So
Wow.
like you
Yeah.
never know when that one day is gonna be. And I think you have to be so obsessed with what you're doing because like at first the math doesn't math. You have to put out more than you get in. You know what I mean? Like there's many times where I couldn't pay myself and I'd obviously pay myself last and sometimes I couldn't even pay myself and I'm working like 18-hour days and outrageous and I'm like, is this like what am I doing? Like is this like, like you start questioning, is this like is this gonna work? Am I crazy? And then but is the sooner you can recalibrate yourself and get back to the purpose of the why you're doing it, then, and understand that it all changes, all that work. It's like you do all that work and then it's just in second,
Mm.
all
I,
change.
I think that's such a valuable takeaway because like, and it really separates the winners from like the people who don't make it through. It's like how many days, how many nights, how long can you go,
Yeah.
until you have that
Oh,
breakthrough
literally,
moment.
this is a marathon for sure.
And so many people quit before that point.
Yeah.
It's very rare for like people to be willing to stick it out for a long time to eventually
Mhm.
reach those moments. There's so
100%.
many like, references for stuff like this, but it's essentially a flywheel. Like if you keep putting in the work day after
Exactly.
day, you're making the changes and you believe in what you're changing and what you're
Yes.
doing, eventually it's going to catch. And
A
it
hundred
does.
percent.
It's
And I
just
think
how
that's
long
where you
can
gotta
you
be a
take the
little
pain?
bit delusional.
Yes, absolutely. So you went through all that and then boom, it starts accelerating like crazy. And now it's just a scaling game of how much can you spend and how much inventory can you push out.
Exactly.
And it's just all tweaking websites, getting the creatives right, and then just pushing the gas. And come like Black Friday, where you were live the previous in 2024 in that last quarter,
Yeah, but not really. I wouldn't say
it was
like
early days.
yeah.
So you haven't really got the experience, the
Yeah.
full Q4 of ecom.
Yeah, because I wasn't running any
Yeah,
ads.
so that's when
Yeah.
the big craze comes. So like we're about to enter that moment. We're in summer right now, but the holidays and Black Friday and all these, um, seasonality stuff is coming up. And that's like when e-commerce brands can make all their revenue in a matter of like 2 months compared to what they did the whole year.
Yeah, which is
So
wild to think about. And I've been like on the meeting the other day, I kind of caught a snippet of you talking about that and it got me thinking about it and I'm super excited.
yeah, that's like the one chance that e-commerce business owners can essentially buy as many customers as possible, especially if you have a product that's like, people need to, if it's like a consumable or it can be fully used and they need to buy another one.
Exactly.
Um, that is like LTVs and returning customer rate. You want to acquire as many new users because acquisition costs are extremely low during that time period. Everybody's buying for gifts for the holidays or themselves or doing shopping. It's like a
Hmm.
very crazy moment. So, some people keep their spend the same and be like, I got a really great ROAS that month and their sales only jump like 10 or 20K. But, the savvy ones will end up spending as much money as possible during those 2 months because if you acquire, 10,000 new customers and you have 50%, returning customer rate, well, going into the new year, you effectively
Exactly.
have, you got 10,000, you got 5,000 new people who are going to be buying from you every month. And so you go from
Exactly.
sitting at 100 to now sitting at a 300K average every month thereafter.
Yeah, and
So
that's something that we're definitely really proud of is a lot of customers do come back and they love it and they say they'll never live without it.
that's
So
awesome. So where can people go check out your site. What's the URL?
Koochi.ca, Koochi.ca.
Awesome. And who would you recommend the mentorship to?
Oh my, everybody. Yeah, can't say enough good things about it. Truly life
Love it.
changing. Yeah,
Awesome. Well,
so grateful for you guys.
yeah, we'll have to do a recap video whenever we hit like 100K, then 250
Definitely,
per month.
definitely.
Awesome.